In a land where the earth once sang with abundance, where laughter echoed through fields of gold, a silence slowly took hold. The rains had ceased, the soil had hardened, and hope began to fade. Day after day, the sun burned without mercy, and the people watched, helpless, waiting, wondering if life would ever return again. Then one day, a traveler appeared. He carried no riches, no food, no water, only seeds. Small, ordinary seeds. Yet his voice carried something greater, a promise. He said, "Plant these, and life will return." But faith is hardest when nothing makes sense. The people listened, but fear spoke louder. What if the rains never come? What if we lose everything? Doubt spread quietly, like a shadow over every heart, and so many chose safety over faith. They held on to their seeds, unwilling to risk what little they had left. But in the midst of fear, one heart chose differently. Ayo, not the strongest, not the richest, but willing to believe. He looked at the dry ground, then up to the empty sky, and whispered, "If there is even a chance, I will trust." So he went out. While others waited, he planted. Into dry soil, with no sign of rain, he planted. With every seed, a quiet act of faith. With every step, a declaration of trust. Even when it cost him everything, he held nothing back. Because sometimes, faith doesn't wait for certainty. It moves in obedience. Days passed, then weeks, and still nothing. The ground remained silent, and the voices grew louder. "You have wasted everything. Your faith has failed you." But Io returned, again and again, standing in the same field, holding on, when there was nothing to see and nothing to prove, except his trust. He held on firmly to his expectation of a positive outcome. But faith is never wasted. Even when unseen, it is working. And then the sky began to change. The wind shifted, the clouds gathered, and in a single moment, the first drop fell. And suddenly, the heavens opened, rain poured down, life awakened, and what was once dry began to flourish. Seeds that were planted in faith now stood in abundance. Where others saw loss, faith produced a harvest. And the people saw the harvest did not begin with rain. It began with trust. Hope, when planted in faith, never returns empty. Trust, even when you cannot see. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. Shalom.
Broken ground. reflections, and life lessons. The seeds of hope. In every season of life, there comes a moment when the ground feels dry, when effort seems unrewarded, and when the future looks uncertain. The Seeds of Hope is more than a story. It is a mirror, a reflection of the quiet battles we all face, the moments when we must decide whether to hold back in fear or to move forward in trust. Here are the lessons from the story. Lesson 1. Faith requires action. Ao did not wait for perfect conditions. He planted anyway, and that is the first lesson. Faith is not passive, it acts. In our personal lives, this may mean taking a step forward even when we don't feel ready. In our careers, it may mean pursuing an opportunity without full certainty of the outcome. In business, it can mean investing, building, or launching when results are not guaranteed. Because often, the difference between stagnation and growth is one decision, to act in faith. Lesson 2. Trust is tested in the waiting. There was a period when nothing happened. No rain, no growth, no visible results. And yet, Ao remained. This reminds us that trust is not proven when things are working, but when they are not. In family life, there are seasons when relationships feel strained, yet love must remain consistent. In career and business, there are moments of delay, rejection, or silence. Yet perseverance must continue. In those moments, what we hold on to inwardly matters more than what we see outwardly. Lesson 3. Obedience before evidence. Ao planted before he saw results. And that is a powerful truth. Breakthrough often follows obedience, not the other way around. Too often, we wait for clarity before we act. But life teaches us that clarity often comes after we move. The courage to obey, to follow conviction, purpose, and direction, even without visible proof, is what sets transformation in motion. Lesson 4. Your faith impacts more than you. When the harvest came, it did not bless Ao alone. It restored the entire community. And this reveals something profound. Your decision to trust is never just about you. In your family, your consistency becomes stability for others. In your workplace, your resilience inspires those around you. In your business or ministry, your obedience can become a solution to someone else's need. The seeds you plant today may become someone else's survival tomorrow. Lesson 5. The harvest begins within. Before the rain came, something had already changed. Ao's heart. He had chosen to trust in faith. And this is the final lesson. The real harvest begins within you before it ever appears around you. Growth starts in the unseen places, in your mindset, your discipline, your faith, your character. Because when the rain finally comes, it only reveals what has already been planted. Conclusion. So, when life feels uncertain, when progress seems slow, and when the outcome is unclear, remember this. Plan anyway. Trust anyway. Move anyway. Because the rain may not come when you expect, but it will come. And when it does, every seed of faith, every act of obedience, every moment of trust will rise into a harvest greater than you imagined. In conclusion, the harvest does not begin with rain. It begins with trust anchored in faith. Shalom.